Check 1 2, check 1 2, testing, testing, check 1 2, check, check. Check 1 2, check 1 2, testing, testing. Check 1 2, check 1 2, testing 1 2. Testing, testing. Check 1 2. Testing, testing.
Good evening, everyone. Could you please find a seat? Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming tonight. Unfortunately, I know we have a lot of COVID in the development, so I'm glad that we had a nice little turnout tonight. And we're streaming, so hopefully we'll have more people watching also. Okay, I'm sorry. All right. Tonight we're going to speak about the new fiscal year budget, which starts on June 1st of this year. This budget is prepared preliminarily by David Goldstein's data. We have a finance committee of how many people now, Rick? 7? 8 people. Most of them are professional accountants or business people, and they're the ones that constructed the budget, which Rick is now going to present to you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the members of the Finance Committee. Some of them are here, some aren't able to be here. Bob Randazzo, Jeff Braunstein, Harold Gustin, Larry Silva, Sandra Bissell, Ed Rasmussen, and Bob Berman. We meet every month, go over the numbers, make sure that everything is classified right, and from that we have a basis for the new budget. This is our best estimation of expenses during the coming year. The budget's a work in process and something that's not set in the budget can change during the year. Other items that might come up requiring expenditures, we will amend the budget as needed. Okay, the budget's made up of 2 separate areas. Income, which is shown on the first page of what you got, and the income is based on all the expenses. We take all the expenses and from there we back into how we need to get income. Okay, the first item is the payroll. Now, last year's budget was $935,000. This year we expect $975,000 in payroll expense. The employees who are full-time and want to get health insurance, that's the next item there. We have a few employees who get auto allowance. That's the reason for this budget. The next expense, which is next 2 expenses, are the suite-related gas. Last year we budgeted $525,000. This year we're budgeting, we budgeted $425,000. This year we're budgeting $515,000. What we did was we took the actual expenses and through 9 months, through 10 months, it was $490,000. So we're estimating it's going to be $515,000 for the suite-related electric. No, this is electric. We're talking electric. Okay, the general common electric is the electric that pertains to the clubhouse. So that we estimate is going to go from $92,000 to $115,000. The water, there's one water bill for the entire community. Includes filling the outdoor pool and everything everybody uses in their houses and what we use in the clubhouse. And that is going to be up from last year. The optimum line on the budget, that we estimate is going down. We had a savings last year. We were able to negotiate with Optimum for a better rate for the clubhouse, resulting in a reduction. Some of the employees have telephones that are cell phones because they're always on call, such as Jerry, who's our lead maintenance man, Irene. So this is the actual fee that we pay for the monthly cell phone. The telephones that were that says suite-related telephones. Those are for the alarms in the suite buildings. The elevators. And that is based on what we estimate it'll be next year. Okay, the next expense, which is going up, suite-related gas. Through April 10th, we had spent $285,000 in gas, even though we budgeted $220 last year. So going forward and figuring a 5% increase, we've come up to $326. That's why there's a 50% increase in the gas. And the general common gas is the gas that goes here in the clubhouse, and that is up in accordance. We took a lot of these items, we raised them 5% because of inflation. Now, some people are going to say 5% might not be enough, but we keep looking for ways to cut the money, and we didn't want to bring everything out of sight. Landscape maintenance is a contract that we have for several years, and I believe this is the last year coming up with the contract. And we broke the landscape maintenance from last year into landscape and tree maintenance, so we have a better handle on it. The sprinkler maintenance, we have, what, 53,000 sprinklers here in this property. And it looks like they're slowly replacing every one of them that the builder had put in. That includes the sprinklers and some of the tubing and piping. And so as they break, we keep replacing them. If the snow people broke it, we find out how many are replaced due to snow damage. The landscaper pays for that. What was that? They accepted last year. When we did this last year, and we told them what the damages were, and the landscape, the sprinkler guy can say, okay, in front of building 52, this was broken. He's got a record of what he charges, because when we get a detailed bill, it could go forever listing every single sprinkler he's replaced. Okay, the next area is exterminating based on actual costs. So the general common exterminating here in the clubhouse was way down, so we were able to drop that for next year. We have goose control on the property, and we had a slight increase this coming year. So that's the reason for this. Okay, repairs and maintenance. We've been doing a good job in keeping the repairs down. Everybody fills in work orders. Jerry takes care of the work orders. And so next year's budget is down from this year's, and included in next year's budget is about $50,000, $60,000 because there are some balconies, suite balconies, that have to be repaired. The villa townhouse maintenance, that's when the villas have driveways that get paved, it gets charged to the villas, does not get charged to the general common. So anything we have to do in the villas gets charged to the villas. If they need a roof repair, it's a villa charge. And the general common repairs also went down from last year, so we were able to effect a saving. We added a line in, $10,000 for suite gas line shutoffs for contingency. We had a problem in one of the buildings earlier this year, and there was we had to do a lot of work, which wasn't budgeted, and we figured that in case there's a problem, now we've got money in the budget to take care of this. Pond maintenance, you can see this one up quite a bit. We have to replace the motors in the pool, in the pond, the pumps. And the pond maintenance would be about the same, and but the pumps are about $18,000. In total, delivered. Okay, the office supplies, the office staff obviously watches what they're doing here, and we brought down the office supply expense. The computer expense, we've had, this is a relatively new line on the budget based on the actual expenses we've had here. The fitness center labor, we dropped that. We don't have the classes we used to offer. Classes, people keep asking when it's going back. The fitness committee is considering this, but the feeling was that we weren't going to spend as much money, so we were able to drop the fitness center labor. The equipment is what we replace in the gym as we need it. The holiday expense was holiday lights that go up every year. That had never been budgeted before for one reason or other. So this is based on the actual cost from last year. The snow clearing budget, we left in the same amount. We never know how much it's going to snow. The maintenance staff, the cleaning, that's when All Island is here. They clean the 37 suite buildings once a week. And there's no line, there's nothing happening in Villa Townhouse Maintenance staff. There's no work done for the villas. The management fees we have. Management fees are what we pay to TCM. That's stable. The accounting fees and legal fees, printing and postage. This is how we make the operation run. The other ones, franchise taxes, administrative fees, permits. We've got to file permits for a lot of different items here. So this is actual based on what it's been. Big item is the suite-related elevators and stair lifts. And so we're doing our best to keep that where it's been in the past. The HVAC contracts, we have people come every month to check out each of the suite buildings and the clubhouse. And we have the repairs for that also. There were two buildings that got new air conditioning units this year, so therefore we're hoping that the maintenance expenses go down for this. What did I skip? Oh, okay, sorry about that. The pool contract, we have, the reason the pool contract went down is we have this coming season, instead of having 3 lifeguards at the pool during the week, we're going to have 2 lifeguards during the week and 3 lifeguards on the weekend. And right now there's lifeguards inside for the people swimming. When the summer starts, that's not going to happen anymore. We have tennis. We have a tennis contract to fix the tennis courts to get it ready, and we put in money from tennis maintenance. Same thing with bocce. The bocce court has to be repaired, and the estimates, the best estimates we've gotten so far are $9,500. So we put that in. A new item this year was a pickleball court, and it's in for $80,000. However, that's just one bid, and nothing is happening until there are 3 bids.
Where are you putting that?
I don't know. This is the budget committee. I don't know where the budget committee doesn't discuss where it goes. I'm not on that committee. I don't know. It's for 2 courts. Okay. It's for 2 courts. There's 2 courts. this, I don't know. What, do they? I don't know. Do they clean that twice a week? Do they clean twice? Okay. I don't know that.
You're putting in pickleball, but I don't see anything here to upgrade the pool. The chairs and what's going on with the pool.
The pool, wait, when we finish, you'll see where yeah. Okay, the refuse removal, that's up based on what we actually have, and the security is the people you see riding around here. And that's based on a contract that we have with them. The same, right below bocce, pickleball, refuse removal, and security. 53400 security. Okay, we discussed the elevators and the HVAC. Okay, now fire alarm, suite fire alarm. This is relatively self-explanatory, and it's the same prices as this past year. I'm discussing this. There's no questions now. You
Can
can
we
ask
hold
questions
questions
after. And just because, I mean, it's in here. If there's a complaint that something isn't happening, you should put it in a work order. If something isn't working, I don't have the ability to go around and say that the alarm isn't working. I'm not qualified to talk about the alarm.
Let's finish the presentation, then let's have questions.
Okay, supplies are same as last year. The insurance, this is the insurance for the clubhouse. David negotiates this, did a good job, and it's not up that much as opposed to last year. The insurance for the suite building, for the condos, for the 7 condo sections are part of the condo charges, not listed here. The contingency is, there's no contingency this year. The website, based on the fact that we should have a decrease in our cost. The dry event cleanings, dry events are done once every 18 months. And this is the charge for it. Patio furniture. That's, somebody had asked about patio furniture. We have bought some new patio furniture, and it's going out there. And so that is the upgrade that we're doing on, we're replacing some of the patio furniture as it's needed. The reserve fund, we had talked about at the last meeting. That's where those numbers come from. And that is the total of all the expenses. Now, you got, on the budget that you got, the next page, if you go to the next page, that's the charges for Condo 1 and Condo 2. So if you've got an A in Condo 1,
Rick, can you get the board to be in sync?
I didn't put this in. Everybody's got a handout. Everybody, it was available to everybody to take, but it's, these pages, obviously, there are 4 pages that were given, but each person's numbers are based on the suite, the condo section they live in. So an A in Condo 1 is not the same as an A in Condo 2. That's the reason that the difference is because of the insurance. The insurance rates are different for the different condo sections. The Board of Managers for each condo section has approved those insurance policies for the coming year. And those are the last couple of pages. You can find your condo section and your unit, and you can see exactly what your payment is going to be next year. And that concludes the budget presentation.
Thank you very much, Rick, and thank you for the Finance Committee members who worked on this. We'd like to offer the floor now for questions. State your name and your condo, and we're only talking about the budget. Brian?
Brian Rappaport, Condo 1. I have a question. Last year's budget, did we have a surplus at the end of this year or a deficit? The one ending this end of May. Excuse me? Did the budget end in a surplus or a deficit?
The budget hasn't ended yet because we go through May 31st.
As of now, have we are we in a deficit or a surplus?
Right now, we're in a deficit. We spent money last year on drainage in a number of different sections here, and that is the reason for the deficit, and we don't anticipate having something like that next year. That's a non-recurring expense.
And have we put aside money, because I didn't see it in the budget, for the modernization of the clubhouse?
That comes out of the capital reserve fund.
So it's not a part of the budget?
No.
Thank you.
Name and question.
Michael Weiner, and I'm in Building 20. I see in the income, there's a rental income for the spa. My understanding is that there's going to be a new vendor in the cafe, and that vendor should be paying the HOA or whomever for the use of it. It's not included here. Has that been factored in anywhere?
We're waiting for first yes, we're getting a new vendor in the cafe, and that money, they will be paying rent eventually in the future, and that will show up, but we're not sure when the vendor is going to be able to start. We had an inspection today. The inspection did not go well. The plumber didn't fix something right, so the vendor can't start. Well, hopefully, we would like to get this vendor in as soon as possible, like by Memorial Day.
Jeff Gable, Building 58. I'd like to point you to page 2 under the Suite Building Common for repairs and maintenance. Page 2, where you show a total cost of $349,300. If you divide that by 37 suites, it comes out to a building per year amount of $9,441. Divided by 52, that's $181.55 to go ahead and do repairs. Now, in Building 58, if one were to look at the outside of the building and see the state of disrepair of the drive-it material, I don't understand how that type of repair is going to be addressed in this budget. In addition, if you look at maintenance staff, which is $253,000, and do the same calculation, that's $6,838 a year, or $131 a week for cleaning staff. Most people have cleaning services just to do their apartments, which run about $100. So tell me how those are really working out.
We have a company called All Island who is cleaning the 37 suite buildings. They get paid $115 a month for each of the 37 buildings.
And they clean how often?
Per week. $115 a week.
And they clean once a week? Can you, please don't call out.
What account are you looking at? What's the number?
That does not include any capital repairs. Matt, do you know anything about that?
Look into it. I was building 57, you said on the right?
58. Okay, well, we're going to look into it. Thank you.
My name is Barry Slavin. When you put something on a budget, let's say just as a wiffle ball, who decides whether we want the wiffle ball? I mean, it'd be a pickleball. Is there a community vote that says we should have it? Is there certain things on the board that the board decides for us whether we want it or whether we don't want it? I don't want pickleball. I'd rather have pickles with my coleslaw.
You want to answer that?
Lenny, do you want to answer that one?
Pickleball was discussed from the last year and a half, 2 years. It's been actually 275 people that signed a petition that wanted to have pickleball. We don't know the location. We're waiting for the engineers and for the, should say, proposals to come in to find out what the numbers will actually be. And if you read all the articles and all the different communities now that are being built, pickleball has enhanced the value of the properties. That's number one. Number two is the most popular sport for people above 55 years old, so it's not so strenuous. And plus the fact is, as I said, it does encompass the whole community. It doesn't just go for 20 or 30 people. It takes on everybody. Women, men play it together. They can do it as equally as they possibly can, and it's a very enjoyable sport to have. It is the fastest growing sport in America today and throughout Europe right now. So that's the reason why it's being discussed, because we like to enhance the value of our properties. And that's one thing that it does.
I would like to talk about the pickleball courts as well. Pickleball has been discussed, I would say, for not 2 years, but probably 3 or 4 years. And about 3 or 4 years ago, there was talk about putting it in Condo 7. Condo 7, the people there did not want it because of the noise factor. And arguably, it will enhance our values. I can show you reports where it doesn't enhance our value. In particular, if you're the one that's going to listen to the noise that's created by the game. Also, there's a mistake in here in the budget. Last year, surreptitiously, $30,000 was allocated for pickleball.
No, it was not.
Well,
No, it was not.
let me interrupt.
I'll interrupt.
Let me finish.
By the way, you didn't introduce.
I apologize. My name's Len Masucci. I received in the mail electronically my bill. And on that budget that came in my bill, it said pickleball, $30,000. I came here, I got the budget, it was miscellaneous. That kind of made me think that maybe they were trying to finagle. And based upon the fact that Lenny knows about how I feel about this, because I don't think it's fair that the noise that's generated nobody in this community should be subjected to it. Believe me when I tell you, he's right about all the things he said. Arguably, he's wrong about the fact that it's going to enhance our values. Now, I was told last year in a conversation I had with Lenny, got rather heated, and I was a little bit rude, and I apologized to him, but he told me that he was going to make an effort to find places around the community to test pickleball, to see if people would be offended by the noise. The places are Condo 7, which already people don't even want it there, between buildings 7 and 8, parking lot, between buildings 3 and 6, parking lot, and adjacent to building 58, in that parking lot. My question is, has any of that been done?
Yes, we had an engineer, I'm sorry. We had, don't need it. You had an engineer come, the area that they discussed, Sorry. We actually had an engineer come to the community. We walked to all 4 areas, okay? His answer was the best place to put it was by the corner in Condo 7. That's number one. We walked over to 58, I'm sorry. There is not enough room to place the 2 pickleball courts there. Number 3, going to the area of 3 and 6, where the other parking lot is, there is a lot more work that has to be done. So basically, again, the Condo 7 parking lot, which is never used, and where the tennis courts are, and the bocce court is, and also we went between 7 and 8. The whole thing came out to be is the drainage area, which he has to then move, and dry wells have to be capped. That's why the price went up. So talking about what you said last year, there was a $15,000 contingency, which was put aside, not 30. And number two, yes, you and I went at it, there were questions asked. And
There was 30.
Excuse me, and I do accept your apology.
Yeah,
All right?
I already,
Yeah, no, we spoke.
Yeah.
All right, so just to let you know that the engineers came around, they did a survey, and this is the area that they were talking about. Does it mean that we're going to put it there? No. Does it mean that we're going to try to find an area that's conducive for the whole community? The answer is yes.
that was not what I was talking about. It wasn't engineers that we referred to. You said you were going to put up temporary courts.
Yes, so we didn't, well, has the weather been conducive? I'm sorry to interrupt you. We did it
Let me
during...
interrupt you and let me finish.
Go ahead.
Okay, so you said we're going to put up temporary courts, play the games, then we're going to ask the people who live there if they can tolerate the noise. That was done or not?
Done in last year, when we, during the pandemic, we actually took the net and did it in the regular parking lot, Building 7. A lot of people came by and wanted to play, and they did. One person complained. That was it.
We had a list that had 70
Well,
people
you had a list of
complain.
what? I'm just letting you know who told us outside.
Okay, but-
Okay, going to Building 3 and 6, we didn't have time because we didn't use it again. But this year, when the weather comes conducive, we actually spoke about setting up a pickleball area, which is 3 and 6, and then 7 and 8 also. But when the weather becomes conducive, right now it has not been conducive, and also I haven't had time to be here. How's that?
Are you going to allow the people who are going to listen to the noise tell you what they think?
Yes, but here's my question to you. We're not playing at 7 o'clock in the morning. There's a set time, between 9 and 5 and 9 and 6, Lenny. All right, so it doesn't affect anybody during the day or waking anybody up?
No, I got one other thing.
All right, we're doing a budget, we're talking about the budget, not about the pickleball.
Well,
All right?
In regard to the budget,
So
in regard to the budget, there's $110,000 by my calculating that you're going to spend on the pickleball.
Not at all.
That could be used for many other things that we are going to face.
The budget, yeah.
For example, the filters in the pond, $18,000. We have $110,000. There are other things that money can be used for. I think it's foolish to spend money on those things when we
I appreciate your opinion. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Liz Pippo, Building 51. However, this has nothing to do with my building. I'd like to know from the budget, about the budget. Our design team has been told and has heard, now correct me if I'm wrong, that there is a major problem with the air conditioning in this clubhouse, and that you might have to go through the ceilings and correct it. Is this true or false?
We don't have a major problem with any of the air conditioning in this building. There is no problem with the air conditioning in this building. The air conditioning now is 15 years old. It has an estimated life of 20 years. There's 21 units. We are trying to find out if and when we change it, how many units we would need to replace the 21
So do we
units.
go forward with the design?
I would say yes.
Okay, that's all I wanted
Yeah.
to know. Thank you.
And if the problem is if we have to do work, walls are easy to repair, Liz. That's not a problem.
The air conditioning units are working fine in the clubhouse. There's some sensors that need to be replaced. They've been ordered. Those sensors will be fixed upstairs, and that should take care of any problems up there.
Hi, my name is Joyce Badger. I'm in Building 34. You said that when the snow removal people break the sprinkler, they pay for it. Landscaping plants are dying that were already planted a week and a half ago. I was to the clubhouse twice. Nobody has responded to me in a week. They're still even dying. Who's going to pay to replace those plants?
Excuse me.
Is landscaping going to pay for them, or are we paying for them?
Excuse me, that's not a budget question, but...
That is, it's in the budget. Landscaping is in the budget.
But not to repair plants. If a landscaper puts in a plant and it dies, he will replace it. Lenny,
Okay, who pays the cost?
the landscaper.
They do. Okay.
Anything that dies that they put in, they replace their cost.
Harold Gustin, Condo 1. Regarding the pickleball thing, has any consideration, first of all, would this not be a capital reserve and not a budget item? And number two, has anybody given any thought about going beyond the tennis courts where we have room so it wouldn't affect anybody? And also a petition, I mean, there's 720 units here. So I believe there's enough room beyond the tennis courts, because all you need is an area 20 by 40 foot.
Okay, well, first, it's not in the capital reserve plan because we had all those items listed, and that was not one of the things that the accountants checked for, so it doesn't belong in the capital reserve. Second, it's not, yeah, we're not replacing anything. And secondly, for the location, has already been said, there's no location decided for this yet.
No, I asked, has anybody looked into beyond the tennis courts?
Where do you mean behind the tennis courts, Harold?
Beyond the tennis courts,
We
going towards Vanderbilt.
don't own any
All
property.
you need is a 20-foot wide area.
Harold, we don't own that property.
Yeah, well, we own about close to 30 feet.
Where did you find 30 feet?
If you look at the site plan and you go to the stakings,
That, we don't own the walking trail, Harold.
I thought it's 20 by 40.
Hi, Bob McDermott, Condo 1. Last year's audited financial statements show that we have about $1 million in operating funds. I'm curious, are we going to use any of that towards this year's budget? Just as I also noticed, you transferred about $100,000 from the working capital fund to use in this year's budget.
The operating fund is for the operation of the community. We have about 2 months' worth of expenses which comprises about $1 million, and that's about the minimum we need to run the place. Is that correct, David?
But we also ate up a good portion of that operating fund this year. You're not going to see that same.
You just said you used about $100,000, so it'll be, oh, somebody did.
About $1 million in the operating fund. You're correct. This year, based on the amount of work that's been done and things that have been done, we've eaten into that quite a bit. So I think when the financial statements come out this year, you'll see that $1 million is less.
All right, but then...
As far as the 100 you saw that we have to pass in if it's working capital, that was, we keep the books on a cash basis, the accountant is going to come in, do it on an accrual basis. If we see that we spent more than we anticipated on the budget, we allowed that there would be $100,000 available from the working capital to cover that. That's when we would take it. Till now, we have not touched it.
Okay, I'm just curious, though. We have $1 million in the operating fund. We have another $864,000 in the working capital fund. Are we just going to use about 100 of it? Plus, that means the deficit for this year has to be running substantially more than the 100,000 that was just mentioned by somebody.
All right. Again, we're going to have to wait till the accountant does his accrual. I think you're going to see we spent more than that this year. As far as the money in the working capital, we have tried not to touch that at all. We earmarked 100 if we needed it this year, but it hasn't been moved yet.
All right, I have another question. I'm just curious, why can't the residents see the monthly financial statements that the board also sees? And I'm assuming they compare actual to budget every month.
That was actually, at one time there was reports like that issued every month. Based on advice of counsel, they were told that they shouldn't continue to do that because of the litigious world that we live in.
So we're afraid of the residents.
We're afraid of lawsuits.
If you show what you're actually spending compared to what you budgeted, it would help everybody be more informed about what's going on.
They do it on an annual basis as part of the as part of the audited financial statement. That's what's required.
Okay. Also, I'm just curious, once we start spending money out of the reserve fund, will we get reports on how much is utilized and for what out of the reserve funds?
I find that this board is very above board, and I would imagine they would, yes.
Okay. But I would really, just to the board, I would really like to see it something monthly rather than once a year, because it gets difficult to look at numbers just once a year and have an hour meeting on them. Any comments from the board on that?
Well, we have a finance committee that's made up of 7 of your neighbors, and they look at the report every month, and they do work on it. And they're the ones that are looking out for our benefits.
Well, I guess I'd like to request that I can become a member of that board.
Well, you speak to Rick.
Rick?
Yeah.
I will do that. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Joe Baggio. I'm building 34. I heard you say earlier about the pickleball, and I have no opinion one way or another, but I thought I heard you say there was like 275 people requested this pickleball court. Was there an up and down vote on this thing? Because you're, I'm sorry, what?
What happened was we asked people if they're interested in pickleball, and then they came back.
I never got one.
There was people walking around. If you haven't seen it, then you can actually come to I'll put the petition out, all right, for you to sign if you want to or don't want to, all right? I'll leave it at the concierge. There was people walking around asking people if they would like to have a pickleball court here. So out of the numbers that were given and signing the petition that they're requesting for a pickleball, there were 275 signatures. Then pandemic hit. We stopped walking around. Okay, so that's one of the issues why you don't have more signatures or less, whatever, at the point. So I'm just letting you know that I'll repost it by the concierge. You can read it, you can see it, and you can decide for yourself.
Okay, so it could have been 250 people, it could have been 200 people requested it. We would have gone ahead and spent the 80,000 or whatever the magical number is going to be. Where is the line drawn where we say, yay, we should be doing this?
You should be doing it or shouldn't?
We should be doing it or we shouldn't be doing it.
That's a decision that comes from what the community's commanding. The community asked, possibly, can we build a pickleball court since it became so popular? And then pandemic hit, and that's exactly where we're standing at this point. We haven't moved on it. We haven't actually done anything other than calling an engineer in to check out the different areas. And then we'll decide afterwards what should be done.
So there will be no up and down vote as far as you know?
Up and down?
Up and down vote, the community as a whole, the majority of the community say, yes, we want a pickleball court, because I remember many years ago, some people in the community wanted the dog run, and it got voted down.
That's a vote that came from that previous board. The point is here, your same thing at this stage, they put a bocce court in. It wasn't here when we first moved in. It was voted in, it was put in. People wanted it.
I couldn't tell you.
So they did it. The same thing with the tennis courts. They were not here when they first built this place. Then they actually added that in afterwards. Mr. Dub was kind enough to put it in for you. Okay, so these are things that are discussed. So when it comes down to community, and it actually does benefit the community, then the board will look at it and see if it's positive or negative.
I hear what you're saying, and it could benefit the community. There's pros and cons to everything. I just was wondering if we vote as a community, if we want to spend $80,000 or $110,000, whatever it is, for something that everybody has a vote for.
The answer is, we don't ask the community to vote on these things.
Gotcha.
That was my next statement.
I have a question. I know that most of the board... I'm sorry. My name is Carol Effer. I live in Building 3. I've lived in Building 47. I've lived in a villa. and I know that most of the board now lives either in villas or townhouses. Cleaning a suite building once a week, especially during the winter when the leaves come in, when the snow comes in, is not enough. How could you cut that down from big deal twice a week?
It was never cut down.
He just said it was. He just said that they cut it down to once a week.
I think you misspoke. It was never cut down.
It was
always once a
Rick?
week.
It was never changed. It's been, since I've been doing this, it's been $115 a week. They come in, I'm not in a suite building, I can't tell you.
They're not. You just said that's for a once-a-week cleaning of a suite building. 3 floors, the first floor when you walk in, the elevator, that's the,
It was always once a week.
but the budget was cut on it. No, it was not always
No, no.
once a week.
It was always once a week.
You don't know. It's twice a week.
Really.
Okay, we'll check that out.
But you've already cut it, the
No,
amount?
We did not cut the budget.
Well, let me make sure nobody else has a first question first.
I have a first question.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, on the budget,
What is your name, please?
I gave it before, it's Lydia Mandel, Building 51. On the budget number, if I can see it, the MPH clothing expense, what is that? Can somebody explain that to me?
Yeah, that's clothing that we buy for the staff. The staff wears different shirts, pants. When they work outside in the winter, our employees, that's for them. That's
When they work outside?
Our employees wear shirts here. Matt can explain that better because he wears it.
We have staff shirt when they're sitting out at the pool. Concierge has staff shirts. The janitorial wears staff shirts.
We moved into a community that was supposed to be luxurious. It has become not so luxurious. It used to be twice a week cleaning in the suite buildings.
Still is.
Not in building 51.
It is twice a week.
Twice a week? So why, now next week it's gonna get cut down next year to?
No, nothing's being cut. It's always twice a week.
I made a mistake, but you don't realize that.
Okay.
If you listen, I told you I made a mistake.
Oh, I heard you this time, yes. It's fine.
I do not live in a suite building, therefore, ask your people.
I did.
Liz,
Yeah.
okay?
Okay, now my other question. Why is the people sitting at the concierge desk, when people come into this clubhouse, they should be wearing those shirts that we're paying for?
They
Being spent on anything but T-shirts worn out at the pool for the 3 months in the summertime.
There's also coats that they wear. We have pants that the maintenance guys, the pants that they wear, you wouldn't know that we're supplying them, but we are. If there's boots.
Matt, can you please make sure that the people who are
Yes.
dealing with the public wear their shirts?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Lydia.
All right, Barbara Braunstein, Building 4. All right, mine's kind of a two-part question. I don't, maybe I didn't look carefully enough, but is there anticipated income for guest fees for the summer?
There isn't. We didn't build it into the budget, but assuming that we open the place for guests during the summer, there will be fees, and it's a non-budgeted item at the current time because we couldn't budget something we don't know what's going to happen.
Is there anticipation of having guests in the
Yes, there is an
clubhouse?
anticipation of having guests, and we're waiting. There's an anticipation that we're going to open the clubhouse and pool to guests once the pool is open. However, everybody sees what's going on with COVID, and it's been running rampant in the last week here. So therefore, we're waiting to see what happens if we could have it. If we announce today that it's open, and then tomorrow we have to say it's closed, it doesn't mean anything. Let's wait until we get actual pool opening time, because that's when the people want their guests to come, when the pool is open. The pool's going to open Memorial Day weekend. There won't be any guests allowed Memorial Day, Labor Day, or July 4th weekends, those 3 days each. But the anticipation is we will have guests other times, and therefore there will be guest fees. Yes. There will be guest fees during the week. All 7 days a week there'll be guest fees. All the time. Guest fees all the time.
We would like to open the community, but we have to be prudent in today's world, unfortunately. Yes. 4.
No, we're charging fees because the guests come, we have to replace more furniture. This money can come in, we can use it for furniture replacement. You're only allowed to bring in 4 guests a day.
Well, we'll talk about that another time, Bob.
Okay, I have a question. Linda Wiltsey, Building 53. I have a question about the condo fees. I see that Condo 4 has condo fees which are double everybody else's. Is that just because of insurance?
Okay, the condo fees are different for each of the 7 condos because based on the insurance fees, each of the 7 condos has their own insurance budget. And the insurance is based on the claims that each of the 7 condos has had, and the fees are different for the 7 condos because the insurance is different.
Condo 4 had a very bad track record about 4 years ago. There were 3 or 4 major claims in 1 year, and those really made a big difference. Loss history, they call it.
And then Condo 3?
And because of that, that stays on their record for, I think it's 7 years.
No, 5, 4 to 5.
5, I'm sorry. What was your other question?
Condo 3 had a fire. I think that Condo 3.
Condo 2.
Condo
Oh,
2.
that's Condo 2.
And their fees went up tremendously.
Theirs went up also, but there was 1 fire, not 4 or 5.
Yeah, Condo 2 had the fire, but Condo 2 had a lot of spare cash in their budget and is paying quite a
in
bit
their
of money
account,
towards the fees to keep the condo costs down, but it's coming out of the cash reserve that Condo 2 had.
Whether there is
Can you
money.
please?
How do we know, the people in Condo 4, of which we are, how do we know whether the Condo 4 has extra money to put towards our expenses? We have no way of knowing that at all.
Ask your condo board.
At the annual meeting, each condo gets their financial statement, which tells how much money is there. There is about similar amount of money in condos 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. For some reason, and nobody knows why, and probably it predates me, there was a lot of money sitting in Condo 2. So the Condo 2 board decided to take some of that money each of the next several years to keep down their fee increase. So their fees were increased, but not as much as it would have been in other case.
Also, Lydia, Condo 4 only has 72 residents, so when they have a big insurance bill, unfortunately, you have less people to share it. Yeah.
Barry Slavin again. You gentlemen have taken a lot of questions, a lot of tough reviews. But I have a silly question that I just thinking about. When a decision is made, who's to determine that you're right and we're wrong, or we're wrong and you're right?
There's no right or wrong, Barry.
You didn't hear? My question is, who makes the final determination on a decision? Whether you're right and we're wrong, or whether we're wrong and you're right?
Just the way it works in government.
And if we're unhappy, how do we go about to correct it? Is there an Article 32 or something there?
Okay. Diane Amsterdam. I'm back to the same question. I see here that it says patio furniture, $8,000. I don't see anything on the budget to upgrade the furniture that's out and around the pool, which is in very bad condition. It's 16 or 15 years old. Yes, for $8,000? My son just bought some for his backyard. For one backyard, it cost him $3,000. Come on, you know that's not enough money. That doesn't buy anything here. And we use that pool all the time. And, right, now you're going to have guests, and you guys who don't sit out there, you're not sitting on the ground or getting scratched by the torn seats. You don't know what goes on.
We just ordered 30 or 40 new straight chairs.
And what about the lounges? What
Well,
about
that's
the
why
umbrellas?
Umbrellas, we bought a lot of new umbrellas last year.
It looks like a circus. Who's doing this? Whoever's got a sale, that's where you buy the stuff?
No.
Yes, but if you want this community to look like something, you can't just keep throwing pieces here and there. Buy 2 pieces because Costco has it, and 3 pieces because Home Goods has it.
Home Goods.
May I just make a suggestion, Liz Pippo again? You have a design committee. Let us buy the stuff for you. We're going to get it at just a good price as you are, and quite frankly, there'll be continuity.
Good idea.
Hi, Board. I'm Sylvia Leonard, Condo 3. There are things that you do that I agree with 100%, and there are things that you do that I do not agree with 100%. But what I do want to say is thank you for your hard work, because you do work hard, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
Matt,
Comments?
Were there any questions?
Let me
on the
check.
screen?
No questions here. Anything further?
Thank you, everyone,
Thank
for
you.
coming.